Final half an hour or so on Radio Row, live on YouTube, live on Facebook. Dustin Poirier coming up in about a half an hour. But right now, let's talk something very important, having tickets, getting legitimate tickets,
right,
and where to get these tickets. And
legitimate being
no
the key
better
word.
person to talk to than Adam from StubHub. Adam, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
Great. I don't have tickets. I'm flying home tonight. I'm happy about that, to be honest. But let's talk about tickets and where you get them and what. First, I don't even remember what the face value on tickets are today.
Yeah, well, the good news is from a starting point on StubHub right now, we do have about 4,000 tickets still available. The NFL does a good job of hiding the face value.
It's not on the ticket anymore?
No, because now that they're all mobile tickets, you don't really see it. So from our point of view, we have a lot of buyers reach out and say, hey, is this in line? And we can only say, look, this is what the market bears.
Right.
Can you even get them initially for a certain price, like for a concert, like a pre-sale where it's a face value of what, the team that the NFL is selling it for before it goes crazy?
Can we both just laugh?
Yeah,
Is that enough of an answer for you?
I can't always speak to all the logistics on that. My understanding is there's quite a few ways. The best way, which is probably the hardest way, would be if you're like a season ticket holder of a team, you get put into a lottery. Or no player. Obviously, if you're a sponsor of one of the leagues, they get access to a lot of tickets. So it's certainly more of a unique event that's not like even a college football championship where there's a much larger percent of tickets allocated for the individual.
And I know that I've talked about this all week, and I know you know this. Every player has the opportunity to purchase a pair. Owners get X amount of pair. Legends, like Otto Graham, I told you once, was getting 200 tickets to a Super Bowl, and then it kind of dwindled down. Ooh. So that's why it's so limited. And that's why you need a company like StubHub so that you're getting legitimate tickets that will get you into the game.
Yeah, and the good news is if you're a fan out there and you're actually still thinking about going, this market, I would never say affordable because we're talking about Super Bowl tickets here, but it's certainly more approachable, especially coming off of last year, which was the highest price Super Bowl in StubHub history. So this year right now, the get-in price is about $2,600, which actually is 56% less expensive
that's not
than
bad.
Last year. It's not bad at all.
When you say 2,600, I mean, it seems like
the nosebleeds, but that's where the value really comes in. You can actually see right now that some of these 100 level tickets in the end zone are actually right around $4,000, which, last year you were looking at 10,000 plus to get into that level.
Right. And that's what I was going to say. 2,600 is a lot of money. But when you're looking at a Super Bowl that every one of us common folk can't get to, 26, I mean, that's probably close to what you spent on Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta and all that stuff. So I'm just saying 2,600 is not out of the world, out of the realm to be able to attend a game.
Not at all.
Why is that? Is it because it's the teams, it's New Orleans,
I think a few factors. First and foremost, the Superdome has about 15,000 more seats than we saw last year or even the year before with the same matchup in Arizona. The other big piece is travel. That certainly comes into the ticket price of how much you're spending on airfare, how much you're spending on hotels, which I think it's been well documented. Very hard to even get a hotel room, which could be some of the reasons why we've seen a little bit softer in prices. And then, it's fair to say there's a little bit of potentially Chiefs fatigue from their fans in a very positive way. Like, you're not going to keep spending $10,000 for a Super Bowl ticket when you've seen them in, now 5 out of 6 years. And even the Eagles fans, look, they are a massive fan base. They travel very well, but they also saw their team win just less than 10 years ago. So I think the two teams have led to this market, which would be drastically different if this was either the Bills or the Commanders in the game.
Legitimate question. You may or may not want to answer it. And I normally don't throw these kind of questions, but do you think what happened just a few weeks ago here in New Orleans is also part of that? Because my wife really didn't want me to come for that reason. And I'm like, I've been to Super Bowls. I know what the security's like. I'm sure it's, hate to use the word steroids in sports, but the security is like on steroids out there. Do you think that might have had a little something to do with it as well?
I've got that question a few times, so it's hard to, nothing in our data can really point to that. But certainly, look, everything plays a factor in it. But, for the common fan that may not know, like Super Bowl is arguably like I always joke with my wife too. It's like, it's the safest place outside the White House on that Sunday.
Have you been to the White House?
For a tour, I think when I was in 8th grade. So
I've been to the White House a few times. A friend of mine is Secret Service. It's harder here than the White House.
Exactly. So, but look, there's a lot of different factors that come into it, but it's hard to necessarily draw that comparison.
Talk about counterfeits. And how, and again, to go through a company like StubHub is to make sure that you don't, I mean, the only thing worse than spending $2,600 for a Super Bowl ticket is spending $2,600 and it not being a legit ticket. And I know it's now digital, but I'm sure those geniuses know how to send
The digital piece certainly helps. I think all the other marketplaces as well. I mean, from our point of view, we view the Super Bowl as our largest single-day sporting event every single year. Makes no surprise there, but we spend all year making sure that we actually are going through and vetting every single ticket that's on our site to ensure that there aren't any issues out there. So that's part of the reason we can't get into specifics. But from our point of view, yeah, this is you. Like, I can't go on my own company. Like, I don't own the company, but where I work.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
You'd have my phone number, or I'd hopefully have yours by now.
Exactly. Like, I can't even go on and just list a ticket. There's a lot of hoops that you have to go through to make sure that it's a trusted and safe process.
Awesome.
I have a
Adam, thank
question.
you very
I have one last question here. I'm just kind of curious. When you go ahead and you have a resale, right? Does the NFL still get a kickback from that resale? I mean, obviously StubHub does. Obviously, the person who's selling it does. I was just wondering if it continues to go back any further.
We're currently not a partner of the NFL, so there's no direct kickback to the league at this point.
Okay, well, that was a good question for.
It was a great question.
Yeah, I thought so too. There you
Adam,
go, Randy. Now
thank you
can
for your time.
Awesome.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. All right, we're going to stay live on YouTube. Dustin Poirier, due up next. Awesome stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That was good.